Have you ever felt like you were being watched? Like unseen eyes were following your every move? That's how it started for me and my roommates. Just an uneasy feeling that something wasn't quite right. It was the start of a new semester at college. 4 of us guys had been randomly assigned to share a dorm room. We were settling in, unpacking our stuff, when there was a knock at the door. Standing there was a petite girl with long black hair hanging over her face. "Hi," one of my roommates said. "Can we help you?" "I'm your new roommate," she said in a soft, almost whisper-like voice. We exchanged confused looks. There must have been some mistake. This was an all-guys dorm. But before we could object, she brushed past us and claimed the remaining empty bed. That's how Lila became the 5th roommate that nobody requested. From the very first night, she was off. While the rest of us joked around and stayed up late, Lila kept to herself in the far corner of the room. She barely spoke, barely made eye contact, just sat there, unmoving, like a dark porcelain doll. The first really weird incident happened around 3 a.m. I woke up needing to use the bathroom, and by the pale moonlight filtering in, I saw Lila's bed was empty. That wasn't too strange. Maybe she'd gotten up to get a drink or something. But then I noticed her slender figure by the window, standing perfectly still and staring out at the night. "Lila," I whispered groggily. "You okay?" Slowly, she turned around, and I felt my blood turn to ice water. Her eyes, they looked like 2 black mirrors, reflecting nothing but cold darkness. She tilted her head unnaturally before turning back towards the window without a sound. I rushed out of there, telling myself I must have just been half asleep and imagining things. But I wasn't imagining it. Night after night, the same thing happened like clockwork. Lila would wake up sometime around 3 a.m., which is traditionally considered the witching hour, when evil spirits are thought to be at their strongest. She'd go over to the window and just stand there, unmoving, unblinking, with those damn mirror eyes. At first, my roommates thought I was just messing with them when I told them what was going on, until one by one, they started witnessing it for themselves. Matt, the heaviest sleeper of the group, woke up one night and started screaming his head off when he saw Lila's ghastly pale figure in the moonlight. She didn't seem to notice or care about his terrified shrieks. We tried confronting Lila about her bizarre behavior, but she refused to acknowledge anything out of the ordinary. If we brought up her sleepwalking or those cool black pits where her eyes should be, she'd just stare at us with that same eerie, vacant expression. The situation truly became bizarre when the scratching noises started. It began a few weeks into the semester. Every night around 3:15 a.m., right after Lila started her nightly ritual at the window, would hear this faint scratching sound, like something was scrabbling at the walls. We searched every corner of the room and found nothing that could be causing it. The scratching noises continued night after night, slowly growing louder and more frantic until they became impossible to ignore. We started losing sleep over it, letting our grades to slip. My roommate Kyle even considered switching rooms to get away from it all. Then one night, Around 3:30 a.m., in the middle of that maddening scratching, I saw something on the wall nearby that stopped my heart. There, carved into the cheap drywall, were 3 letters: H-I-M. I shook the other guys awake and showed them the eerie inscription. Their faces drained of color. That's when we realized the scratching sounds, they were coming from inside the walls, and whatever was making them had just sent us a message. After that, we were all too freaked out to even try sleeping through the night anymore. We spent those deadly witching hours keeping vigil, shakingly sipping from bottles of liquor to keep our nerves steady, all while Lila continued her routine like nothing was amiss, her silhouette swaying slightly in the moonlight like a nightmare nursery rhyme. Things only went from bad to worse after that, and looking back, that carved message on the wall was like the first whisper of a gathering scream. It started small. Would notice random objects went missing for periods of time before turning up somewhere else days later. Things like our keys, wallets, that sort of thing. Or would wake up to find our beds had been ransacked and our possessions strewn about. One night while drinking, ignoring the scratching noises, I glimpsed a dark shape dart around a corner. Initially dismissing it as fatigue, my roommate's terrified reaction confirmed we'd both seen something unsettling. From then on, we were all on edge 24/7, constantly feeling unseen eyes on us, like we were unknowingly sharing our dorm with some sort of malicious presence. The worst part, I could have sworn sometimes I'd catch Lila watching these bizarre occurrences out of the corner of my eye, a hint of a cruel smile on her pallid lips. Maybe I was imagining it, or maybe she was enjoying our torment. I don't know. Things reached a fever pitch, though when we returned to our dorm one evening and found the words, "He is watching," scratched into the door in what looked horribly like dried blood. That was the final straw. Despite Lila's creepy protest that she had no idea what we were talking about, we demanded her be moved out immediately and a priest brought in to bless the room. We weren't dealing with anything dangerous or supernatural and wouldn't take no for an answer. I'll never forget the look on that poor priest's face as he walked in, or the way his expression contorted into a rictus of horror before he ran screaming from the room, making the sign of the cross over and over. We never discovered what caused the scratching in the walls, what that profane message meant, or who or what him referred to. All I know is, from that moment on, I never felt the same uneasy prickle on the back of my neck as when I was sharing that dorm with Lila and her unnatural nightly habits.